had a world of my own, everything would be nonsense. Nothing would be what it is, because everything would be what it isn't. And contrary-wise, what it is, it wouldn't be. And what it wouldn't be, it would. You see?
Welcome to Wonderland. Come in, have no fear.
Welcome to Wonderland, where self-discovery takes a curious and whimsical turn. This is Wonderland Unlocked, a journey into the heart of Wonderland itself, exploring the emotions, struggles, and personal growth that shape who we are. I'm Courtney, a peer support specialist with my own winding path through identity, emotions, and transformation. Inspired by my experiences and the lessons I've learned, I created this series to explore how the characters of Wonderland connect to our real-life challenges. In each episode, we'll shine a light on a different Wonderland character, uncovering what their story teaches us about ourselves. From Alice's search for identity to the Mad Hatter's chaos, the Treasure Cat's wisdom to the Queen of Hearts' fury, we'll explore what their journeys reveal about our own. So take a step down the rabbit hole, embrace the unexpected, and let's unlock Wonderland within.
Alice, sweetheart, it's time for tea. Alice? Alice?
Today we're talking about alopecia, a condition that can challenge our self-image in profound ways. And to help us through this conversation, we're drawing inspiration from some of the most opinionated residents of Wonderland, the talking flowers.
Now, who do you suppose? Horsefly. I mean, a rocking horsefly.
Naturally.
I beg your pardon, but, did you... Oh, that's nonsense. Flowers can't talk.
But of course we can talk, my dear. If there's anyone worth talking to. Or about.
These whimsical chattered blooms might seem like they're just another quirky Wonderland detail, but they have more wisdom than you might think. Much like the talking flowers, we all have internal voices that shape the way we see ourselves. Some voices are kind and encouraging, while others criticize, judge, and question our worth. My journey with alopecia was in many ways a battle between these voices, a struggle between self-doubt and self-acceptance. And today, I want to share how I found my voice, embraced resilience, and learned to bloom in my own unique way. So, whether you're dealing with alopecia, another visible difference, or any personal struggle that makes you question your self-worth, this episode's for you. Let's step into Wonderland together and uncover the lessons that help us all grow. If you remember Alice's encounter with the talking flowers in Alice in Wonderland, you know that these flowers have opinions. Lots of them. They judge Alice based on appearances, debating whether she's a weed or a flower.
What kind of garden do you come from?
Oh, I don't come from any garden.
Do you suppose she's a wildflower?
Oh, no, I'm not a wildflower.
Just what species, or shall we say genus, are you, my dear?
Well, I suppose you'd call me a genus, humanus, Alice.
Ever see an Alice with a blossom like that? Come to think of it, did you ever see an Alice? Yes. And did you notice her petals? What a peculiar colour. And no fragrance. Just look at those stems. Rather scrawny, I'd say.
They assign value based on what they see on the surface. Sound familiar? In the real world, we deal with our own talking flowers. Maybe that's the internal voice that tells us we're not enough. Maybe it's societal expectations that try to define beauty in narrow ways. Maybe it's even the actual voices of people around us who make thoughtless comments that cut deep. But here's the thing about flowers. They don't all bloom at the same time. They take longer to open. Some grow in unexpected directions, and some, like wildflowers, flourish in places no one expects. The talking flowers might have their opinions, but in the end, it's not their words that matter. It's how we choose to grow despite them. When I first started noticing my hair falling out, I felt like the talking flowers were everywhere. strangers, friends, my own reflection, all whispering questions I didn't even know how to answer. Why is this happening? Will it ever stop? How will people see me? But the real question, the one that mattered most, was this: how do I see myself? Alopecia doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process that one plays out in the smallest of moments. Noticing more hair on your pillow in the morning, seeing tiny bald patches that weren't there before, styling your hair differently to cover what you don't want others to see, and then eventually realizing that no hairstyle will ever hide it completely. At first, I treated it like a problem to be solved. I searched for miracle shampoos, I tried home remedies, I researched treatments late into the night, and when none of them worked, I was left with a sinking feeling, one that whispered, "What now?" The emotional toll was heavier than the physical one. I worried about what people would think. I avoided social situations. I felt like I was losing control of my identity. For so long, I believed that beauty, my beauty, was tied to something external. And losing my hair felt like losing a part of myself. But Wonderland has a way of challenging perspectives, doesn't it? If Alice learned anything in her journey, it's that things are rarely what they seem at first glance. The question I kept referring to was this: what if I'm not my hair? Then who am I? One day I made a decision. I wasn't going to hide anymore, not from others, and not from myself. I shaved what little remained of my hair, and for the first time, I saw myself clearly. Not as someone who had lost something, but as someone who had gained a whole new perspective. I started connecting with others who had alopecia, and their stories inspired me. Some wore wigs, others embraced their baldness, some experimented with colorful headscarves. But the one thing that they all shared was this: confidence wasn't about having hair or not. It was about owning who you are. The talking flowers in Wonderland never apologize for their petals. They don't shrink themselves to fit expectations. And I realized I didn't have to either. Alopecia didn't take away my beauty. It just changed the way I saw it. And the moment I stopped chasing an old version of myself, I realized I had been growing into something new all along. The truth is, we're all constantly evolving. The key isn't to embrace it. You have to embrace it. Self-love isn't a destination. It's a practice. Some days it's easy. Other days it takes work. But each day we choose to accept ourselves is a day we bloom a little more. So, if you're struggling with self-acceptance, remember this: your beauty isn't defined by anyone else's standards. Your worth isn't measured by external appearances. Your worth isn't measured by external appearances. You are enough, just as you are. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Just like the talking flowers, we all have a voice, a unique beauty, and a right to bloom in our own way. If you take one thing from today's episode, let it be this: growth isn't about looking like everyone else. It's about becoming the fullest version of yourself. I'd love to hear your stories. How have you embraced your self-love in the face of challenges? Let's continue the conversation in the comments. And if this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, yay me, yay you, and yay us. Keep blooming, Wonderland.